everybody, and welcome to MotoGP, the fifth round of the championship, coming to you from the Bugatti circuit at Le Mans in France. This is usually the home of the 24 hours of both the bikes and the racing cars as well. But today, the French Grand Prix at Le Mans is going to be a very exciting one. Fabio Quartararo on pole position. There's a threat of rain in the air as well. Let's kick off by looking at the calendar, which has changed. The Finnish Grand Prix has now been cancelled due to the COVID pandemic, which means that now there is a long month, no racing at all in July at the current moment. But a week earlier, before the Austrian Grand Prix, we will have the Styrian Grand Prix on the 8th of August, and then on the 15th, we'll have the Austrian Grand Prix as well. So that's a nice round-out calendar as well. So let's take a look then at what happened in the combined times of practice 1, 2 and 3 to begin with. Very tricky conditions out there throughout this weekend. Rain has been a horrific factor throughout this weekend, which meant that the only times that stood was that of free practice 2 in the combined times. Load of riders already falling across all of the classes as well. Nobody hurt, nobody in a massive accident, but still a lot of difficult riding situations out there. But it left Johan Zarco going through into qualifying 2, along with Fabio Quartararo, Maverick Vinales, Pol Espargaro, Franco Morbidelli, Miguel Oliveira, Jack Miller, Marc Marquez, Valentino Rossi and Tatsuki Nakagami getting automatic jump into Q2 due to the best of the track conditions that actually came in practice 2. Practice 1 was wet, practice 3 was a washout as well. Absolutely no point in seeing that one. Free practice 4 was an interesting one. We'll get onto that in just a moment's time as well. Having to go through Q1, we saw Rins, Bagnaia, Mia, Aleix Espargaro, Luca Noah, Binder, Alex Marquez, Rabat, Bastianini, Savadori, Marini and Petrucci, surprising everybody on the KTM. He's having to go through Q1 as well. But a lot of riders falling early on as well. Marc Marquez had a little wobble. Both of the both of the Repsol Hondas did. The Petronas Yamaha, Franco Morbidelli flying off. A load of riders off at turn 3 as well, trying to get used to the slippery track conditions. So watch out for turn 3 and turn 6 in the race today. We'll spot those out as we go. Okay, let's take a look then at what happened in free practice 4. And with that on the board as well, free practice 4 on Saturday was the only other separate session that happened just before qualifying. And that was an interesting one. Dry track conditions as well, like we saw in free practice 2, saw Fabio Quartararo stick it to the top, a 132.857 from Alex Rins and Franco Morbidelli. But if you look at it, the gap, there was about 14 riders separated by less than a second. 13 is sort of the cut-off for from Valentino Rossi's point of view, with just under a second. So a fantastic job there for everybody in the MotoGP field. But it was a pretty uneventful session in terms of development. Mainly they're all getting used to the tricky track conditions out there on the track. Let's take a look at the grid then, and as always, we'll start from back to front. At the back, Enea Bastianini starts in 22nd place on the board as well. A terrible qualifying for him. He was 3 seconds off the pace of Savadori. The track conditions changing dramatically in Q1, but it did see Lorenzo Savadori and Luca Marini cross the line. 8 tenths between them, but they were the two going through into qualifying 2, surprising everybody out there. Aleix Espargaro just missed out from Johan Mir and Alex Rins. Then Francesco Bagnaia, Daniel Petrucci, Aiki Lucanoa, Alex Marquez, Tito Rabat, Brad Binder and Enea Bastianini. They filled positions 13 to 22, as you see on your monitor. And Q2 was a surprise. Marc Marquez almost, I want to say almost, I mean really almost took pole position as well. So close to the end. He now starts 6th on the grid. In the end, he was 4 tenths off the pace. But Quartararo, Vinales, Miller, the top 3. Petronas Yamahas just behind there as well, with Franco Morbidelli starting 4th on the grid. But Yamaha, the monster Yamaha on the top of the grid as well, looking good from Vinales, Miller. And then Morbidelli, Zarco, Marquez, row 2. The 3rd row, Nakagami, Pol Espargaro, alongside Valentino Rossi. The 4th row, Miguel Oliveira, Lorenzo Savadori and Luca Marini as well. Best of qualifying for Lorenzo Savadori as well. Okay, it's time to cross over now to the commentary. Megan Birch isn't with us this weekend as she focuses on her exams. She'll be back for the Formula 1 race at Monaco, but missing her first MotoGP race this weekend. So alongside myself in the commentary box will be Ian Birch. It's time then to cross over for the 2021 French Grand Prix at Le Mans. And welcome along to live coverage up here in the commentary box. We've redecorated ever so slightly since the last time you saw it live here on YouTube. New light, painting as well. And also, we've got rid of Megan for this race only. She's not with us as she focuses on her GCSE exams. So joining me in the commentary box, MotoGP, for the first time, I think, ever, it's Ian Birch. Hello, Dad. Welcome to MotoGP.
Yeah, I've been watching MotoGP and Superbikes for ever since... I can remember, but, this is the first time I've ever commentated on it.
So let's keep your fingers crossed. It should be quite easy. It's not like we've thrown you in at the deep end. We've been watching MotoGP as long as I've been watching it. So
Davio reckons that it won't rain till 2 o'clock our time. They're 3 o'clock their time. Hervé says that it'll rain quite badly at 20 minutes in. So...
yeah.
But Davio is quite pleased with that because the Bugattis will probably be better in the rain. And as for Quartararo,
he's on
top,
the
Yami,
right?
on the little Yami at the front of the queue with his arm pump nearly healed. Right, it's he did cut it open, didn't he?
He did, yeah. They had a massive cut open and stuck the needles in it, tested to see. They say he's susceptible to it happening again here today. And in wet weather around Le Mans, that's going to be a tricky one.
So he's hoping that it is a wet race because wet tyres, the bike is easier to pull up and down and get into the corners, which sounds daft, but it is lighter because there's less... grip on the surface because the way the tyres are. But all in all, I think we're going to have an exciting race. Unfortunately, Sam Lowe's our own local rider. He went down quite early.
In the Moto 2 race.
And there's an interesting thing about everybody. There's over 110 riders gone down in crashes this weekend.
Exactly.
Obviously not. 110 crashes. A lot of them at Turn 3. The World Feed lads are saying that that's Turn 3 club.
The Turn 3 club, yeah, they've been there all the year.
Yeah.
La Chapelle down at Turn 5 and 6 have also been having a couple.
But it's quite interesting, Michael's been saying about the reason for this is that the left-hand side of the tyre, of these asymmetric tyres, cools down because it's hardly used. When you get to Turn 3, you haven't used the left-hand side of your tyre
at all.
Since Turn 12,
which is back at the Blues corner just before the double.
It was quite interesting. Marquez went down at 3 yesterday because he got the wrong entrance to 12, trying to overtake his teammate or getting a pull from his teammate. And he slowed down, took it wide, and so didn't warm his tyre up at 12. So when he got round to 3 and went down that long straight, the tyre had cooled so much that he went straight over and on at Turn 3.
0.419 miles between Turn 1 and the last corner. So just running through the grid quick. It's 112.995 kilometres. This is 27 laps. Track temperature at 30 degrees. Air temperature at 17 as well. Humidity at 57%. Wind speed at 3 kilometres. It's blowing in from the southeast. This is the grid at the moment with the rows. Fabio Quartararo on pole position once again, doubling up after last time out at the Spanish Grand Prix. Alongside him his teammate Maverick Vinales. The Ducati of Jack Miller, who won the Spanish Grand Prix, is third. Second row, Franco Morbidelli, Johan Zarco and Marc Marquez. Third row, Nakagami, Pol Espargaro and Valentino Rossi, very high up for the Petronas Yamahas. Fourth on the grid, row 4 sees Oliveira, Savadori, Marini. The fifth row, Alicia Spargo, Mia, Rins and Bagnaia, alongside Petrucci, Lucanoa. Then it's Alex Marquez, Tito Rabat and Brad Binder, row 7. And row 8 sees Anea Bastianini. We will explain quick that if that rain does come down, it will be a flag-to-flag race, which means they will come in, change bikes to a wet setup and get going. If it's too wet, expect to see the red flag. Okay, we're ready for a start then here at Le Mans. It is the Bugatti circuit. Fabio Quartararo, his heart rate is at 123 beats per minute. What's it going to be like when you get down to turn 3? 5 red lights are on. Lights out, race on. Good start from Quartararo, good start for Vinales, but Jack Miller has got the inside line. That whole shot Ducati kickoff gets a great start once again. Marquez looking in. Rossi's come through already up there. Nakagami's going up and fighting with Marquez. Rossi's in the middle. Marquez going into just touching the back of Nakagami. He keeps off. Nakagami's actually moved up a couple of places. He started 7th, now to P4. Miller leads. And look at the rain cloud down into La Chapelle. It's a dry track at the moment, but doesn't usually stop them falling. As you said, 110 crashes even before wet weather got going. Marquez looking up the inside, getting through on Nakagami. Nakagami slips back through. Paulo Spargo coming back to him now in the other of the Repsol Hondas. For the Petronas Yamaha, Valentino Rossi now P7, Franco Morbidelli 8th, and Marquez forces up the inside. And Garage Vert forces Nakagami wide. And these are all 3 Hondas, and they're all teammates as well. That's what's interesting. The Repsol Hondas and the LCR Hondas, pretty much the same team, just a different name, as Rossi goes at the inside of Morbidelli.
Yeah, Valentino's a bit happier this weekend. They've been trying to figure out what is there's Valentino.
Paul Espargaro had a massive moment. There's a crash. What happened there? That's Franco Morbidelli being sent off at the blue S's, and he was sort of in a closing gap. Espargaro nearly had a high side. He had to back out of it. Rossi and Morbidelli sort of crunched him, and Morbidelli's down. He's gone off in the gravel, and he had a slow crash in the pit lane in free practice 3 that damaged his ankle, and it looks like it's damaged it again.
Actually, it's his knee. Yep. There was a problem. They were testing in one of the practices, or the qualifying. He jumping off one bike and onto another, and as he jumped off one bike, he twisted his knee, and that looks like he's injured his knee again. What I was going to say about Rossi is that Rossi is hoping for a better time of it this weekend. They finally got to grips with what was wrong with that bike.
Maverick Vinales sneaks back up the inside, down at the turn at La Chapelle, and gets back through on Miller. Miller's going to try and fight back. Marquez dropping down the order as well. Nakagami's gone back through, as now Alex Rins. So Marquez again not back up to temperature just yet. But you're right, Rossi's trying to find something in the bike in these mixed conditions.
He's changed the fork positions. He's changed a few things on that bike, recommended by the gurus, and he was quite happy with all the build-up to this race. He feels that he's getting the most out of that bike that he can possibly. Whether or not he goes another season, I don't know. It's 20 years since he won his first. 2001 was his first World Championship. And, 20 years, he's the greatest of all time. Maybe it's time for him just to be the boss of VR46.
That's team coming in next year as well in the MotoGP squad. Right now, though, there's all sort of battles out on the circuit as Nakagami holds off Alex Rins as well. But did you see the dark clouds at the back coming out of the Ox Booths corners? Turn 9 and 10, the chicane. Massive black clouds above the circuit. I think that rain strategy might be an option if it comes back in. Morbidelli now, I think, has been taken to the medical centre.
I'm not surprised.
He's not got back up.
That knee, and that might cause a bit of a mix-up if he can't. If he misses a few races, there is quite a few lads, especially in the Red Bull Academy, that are doing very well in Moto 3 and Moto 2. Including a 16-year-old who is just amazing.
Pedro Costa,
Costa fell,
Pedro Costa.
Pedro Costa.
Yeah. He fell off he started, Started 16th, got up to 5th, fell off at turn 3, and that's not good news.
But the lad that's really making it is in Moto 2, Raul Fernandez. Fernandez is looking like it really is going to be the next Marquez at the moment.
Ralph Fernandez,
and Costa behind him. They're amazing riders.
Jack Miller trying to go around the outside, coming out of the S's corners, coming into the double rights of Crudemont. It's raining. It's raining on the track. Look at that. You can see how slippery it's getting. The last sector is starting to rain, and the teams in the pit lane are getting ready with the wet tyre setup. And there's the flag. There's the red, and there's the red cross with the white flag background. It is raining out there, and now they've got to be so careful. They've got to negotiate as Miller is about to be swamped by both Yamahas. Quartararo, who started on the soft front, soft rear, gets through, loses out a little bit too much. We've now got the white flag. That indicates it's heavy, heavy rain. White flag also displayed means that now riders are allowed to swap the bikes. It's come up on Race Direction as well if you're watching on BT Sport or on ITV4 with live coverage. So it's raining heavy now. This race has now been declared a flag to flag. You can now swap bikes. The first time we've had that since Bruno back in 2017 as Miller dives up the inside coming into Garage Vert and gets back ahead of Quartararo. But look at the rain. And no, Quartararo nerfs Miller, and Miller almost has to stand up and also say what's going on. But look at that. You can clearly see that between the two of them.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault actually. Yeah. It was he was losing the front end as he came in there, and it was a great recovery from him. I mean, Jack is not going to worry about things like that. He's going to realise that it's the surface. Miller doesn't worry about those sort of things anyway. He doesn't. He loves the bump and the.
Oh, crasher! So Someone's down. Oh, is that Morbidelli?
It's Morbidelli's gone, hasn't he?
Oh, it is Morbidelli. That is Morbidelli. He's trying to. What's going on there then? He was taken to the medical centre. Now he's running with the bike down to the pit lane. He's seen the flag to flag. He can, if he can get that back to the pit lane, he can restart this race. He's seen the white flags. So
never give up. That's the thing about MotoGP riders, right? We've had doctors turn around and says you can't race, and they'll race.
Quartararo with arm pump is still managing to get through. He's battling Jack Attack Miller. And now Quartararo back to the lead of the race. But yeah, that is fantastic for Morbidelli.
We had a lad who raced in Moto2 today who broke his finger yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's there again. That's what's going on. It's number 12, which is
Vinales'
bike.
Oh, look.
Being got ready there.
It's raining heavy now all the way round the track. Riders are falling. Marquez has passed Rins. Marquez to third. Marquez has got him. Look, Rins has had a high side moment, and there goes Marquez. Not sure if that's a live telemetry or replay, but it's really treacherous out there right now.
Not as bad as warm-ups this morning. There was a lot of standing water in the warm-ups this morning. It obviously reduces the speed, but on the wet bikes with the wet tyres, they're usually pretty good at this sort of thing, and some riders even excel in it.
Luca Noah's dropped down the order as well. So has Rossi's actually moved up to 14th. Bastianini's now 4 seconds slower. Bagnaya's been called in to change bikes. And Bagnaia, the championship leader, coming into this race. And off goes, that's Miller! That's Miller! Miller's in the gravel! I don't believe it. He's gone straight on. I think that's down in Garage Vert, the turn 8 corner. I can't see. It could be down. Where is that on the track, actually? It's tricky. It's down at Macudamon. And the track now very slippery out there.
Jack there, not wanting to squeeze his brake too much, could feel the front going from beneath him, then the rear sliding a little bit.
Morbidelli's going back to the pits.
Decided a little track through the gravel would be better than going down there.
Marquez pits, Quartararo, Rins all coming in. This is the flag-to-flag procedure. A reminder that 12 of the 22 riders here have never done a flag-to-flag before. This is going to be tricky for them. Marquez is going to take the lead. Marquez, who was super in practicing bike swaps in his day, has taken the lead of the French Grand Prix. Morbidelli's got it back, so he's going to be 6 laps down, and out goes, that's Mia, the champion, and Jack Miller's crashed. Jack Miller has not made it back to the pit lane, although there he is, so correct me there. That is Jack Miller coming through. They've put the wrong graphic up, the wrong JM. Joan Mir is out of this race, the champion of 2020, and now look at that. That's a livery change on the 27 for the 2 KDMs and the 5 as well. So they've changed liveries, bike swaps, all happening out there, and it is really raining now. Out goes Rins! Rins drops it in turn 3. They're going to have to throw the red flag, I think. I think they're going to have to throw the red.
Well, it's just a case of getting the wet bikes up to temperature, isn't it, as well?
Yes.
Clearly, that Rins has got the
Winds
wet
up,
tyres
winds up.
on.
Yeah, wind's now 13 kilometres. It's spiked up. And it's blowing in straight. Rins is crashed out. And of course, Marc Marquez, the race leader, he now has dissertation. If he puts his arm up, they will red flag this race immediately. Marquez is the first one out there meeting these conditions. If he puts his arm up, the race will be stopped. We have got permanent yellows out there. Mark goes a little bit too wide, has to sit up. I think this is going to be a red flag. It's not the question of how much water that's on the track. It's a question is that the water's coming down with such intensity and the fact that the wind has picked up and it's blowing it all down the way, the back straightaways.
Once you get these tyres up to temperature, though, you know, as we said before, it's only going to be the left-hand corners that cause the problems. Turns 12 and turns 3.
Oh, Miller and Bagnaia, a double long lap penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that's insult to injury because that line is super slippery.
Yeah, and also when you go do the double lap here at Le Mans, you go to the extended bit of track, and we had an incident in Moto 2 where he missed it. Gigi missed the entrance and went over the white line and got a second long lap penalty for that. So, and it's because it's downhill and you can't actually see the edge in until you're really on top of it.
Marquez, 1.1 seconds. Johan Mir out of the race. Alex Rins has rejoined, so okay news there for Suzuki. And now, look, this is the battle we wanted to see for 2.5 years. Marc Marquez versus Fabio Quartararo out there. 1 and 2 at the moment. Quartararo has never really had an opportunity to race in wet weather conditions. We had a couple last year, but Marc Marquez is a wet weather master, and we are seeing him return to form in the Premier class after breaking his shoulder last year. Yellow flags out all the way around the circuit, but no sign of the red yet, although it's getting worse out there.
Yeah, and it's expected that you're in the middle of the Loire Valley here.
Yeah, you've been here. You've been to Le Mans,
I've actually driven on the circuit. Where the 24-hour circuit, there is a part of I think it's the 171 or 175.
Just alongside, yeah.
Just alongside the track that is used for the Le Mans 24-hour race. And yeah, I've driven on it a few times. And the thing about the Loire Valley, it's one of the most famous wine-making areas in the world. And yes, you do get a lot of sunshine, but you also get a lot of wind and rain.
And that's what we're saying.
Right? That's why it's a wine-making area. And they should have done this race 6 weeks later.
Yeah, it's a bit earlier than normal.
It's too early.
Yeah.
It's always this temperature. It's always cold and wet this time of year in Le Mans. You would have been very, very lucky. It'd have been like Formula One when they went to Austria and they were expecting a lot of rain and wind, and it was one of the sunniest European races of the year last year.
Yeah, the first race, wasn't it? And then, admittedly, Styria was a bit washed out, but we're getting another shot of that this year. And Marc Marquez circulating 1.6 seconds ahead of Quartararo. Rain clouds are still there. Looks like the wind has dropped a little bit. Riders 43 and 63, double long lap penalty due to speeding in the pit lane. But we already knew that. It's just come up on the race control chat. But
it's bad news for Jack Miller.
Yeah, and that's his championship hopes gone.
Does Beth watch MotoGP?
Usually, yes. I think my live chat's not working here at the moment, so we'll keep an eye out. I don't know if the live chat's working, but
because she'd have been very happy last time.
Yeah. Oh, she was.
Jack actually won the race last year.
And there is the 2. It's an extra 2, so they haven't done it yet.
Wasn't he the first Australian since Casey Stoner?
Yes, to win. Yeah, for Jack Miller. Yeah. And right now as well, we're watching Miller, who is in 3rd place. He's got 13 seconds advantage to Nakagami. Yeah, in the dry.
Because I don't know why. I've never worked out why. But if you win in the wet,
it's different.
It's not counted the same as winning in the dry.
Yeah, so Marc Marquez,
I really, you get the same points, but it's the prestige of winning a MotoGP race.
We've got you in the chat.
In the wet isn't as much as in the dry.
Dude in the blue suit, we've got you on there. We're saying the test, so the chat is now working. I've reset it, so that's great news out there at the moment. I've activated it as well, which was what there's. Oh, sorry, if you can't see that, I'll zoom in a little bit more. As everyone now continuing to say, "Go! Out goes Marc Marquez! Marc Marquez has binned in and recruited him on! And that's the last corner. We saw so many going off down there yesterday, and I don't think he could pick that bike up with his shoulder."
No, he had trouble yesterday. When he fell yesterday and crashed yesterday, he had a lot of trouble actually picking the bike up and needed help picking the bike up.
Comes in. Oh, it's a high side on the shoulder. That's damaged.
On social media, you have pictures and you can actually see the difference in the muscle growth on the bad shoulder. It's a lot less than the other side.
Turns it into Rakudamon, has a high side. He's managing to get it back on the track. Yeah, he looks okay. That's great news because that was a hit on the shoulder that's damaged. So hopefully the airbag puffed up quite quickly. It's got the sense on it, and look, it's just going down now. So yeah,
his team were very worried because, like you, they realised that he landed on his shoulder.
Yeah,
the airbag has gone off, as you can see,
and he's back in the race. Marc Marquez has rejoined, and now Jack Miller running second.
There's the long lap penalty for Miller.
Now he's got to do 2 of these. He's got enough time. He's got 15 seconds to Nakagami. Yeah. Who's that going wide? Is that Vinales circling back? No, it's Rins. It's Rins who's 2 laps down.
So Miller gets a penalty at the French Grand Prix with a Frenchman leading.
Yeah, Quartararo leads the French Grand Prix.
Not saying a word.
Here's Miller. Is this a second attempt at Miller? Because this is Miller now coming through. So Miller's actually 2 seconds back. Well,
have we got 2 long lap penalty areas?
I think we must, because we've just seen, unless that was Bagnaia and the graphic got it wrong.
It looked like Miller.
It looked like Miller to me as well. So I don't know if they've showed a different shot of that.
Nakagami is 30.
Yeah, so that might have been a replay we just saw, actually, but it didn't come up on the screen. As Miller, 2.2 seconds down now to Quartararo. So, yes, that's correct.
It was Miller.
Yeah, so the 63 is Bagnaia. The 43 is Miller. They've changed motorcycles, and they haven't had chance to change the stickers correctly. So the 63 and the 43 look very identical. So that was Bagnaia doing his run, and now there's Miller on the 43, who's done 1 lap penalties.
Quartararo's big problem here is if that wound opens.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, and also I have seen quite a few times over the last few days, people trying to, especially when they get out in front, either in practice or in qualifying, they've tried to keep there and slowing down a bit, and that cools the tyres down. And I've seen quite a few join the Turn 3 club.
And here's Miller doing his second long lap penalty. Yeah,
it's out the way.
Oh, did he touch the white line? Did he?
I think he just missed it.
Just missed the white line because we saw Fabio Di Antonio do it in the Moto 2 race and had to do it again. So keep your fingers crossed.
Gio.
It looks okay. Okay,
GG.
so we've got the tyres now. Quartararo's on a soft front, medium rear wet. It's the opposite for Miller. Miller's on medium front, soft rear. So Miller's going to be a lot faster in the next 18 laps. It's only lap 10. We've been racing for 17 minutes. There is a 60-minute cap on this session.
Yeah, Remy did well this morning.
Well, back to right, look. He's doing 74 kilometres in a 60 down the pit lane. So, Miller was speeding. Back to you.
Yeah, Remy Gardner was doing well this morning, and he's reminding me more and more of his father.
Yeah, Remy Gardner, yeah. Where was he? Second in the race this F2, wasn't he? Yeah. Wayne Gardner, I don't think he's actually at this event.
No, I think Wayne's still in Spain. They live in Spain now. They used to live not far from us, actually, 20 miles that way, in North Thorsby, and they lived there when Wayne was with the Hondas, a Honda bike team, which was they were built in Louth at that time, and a lot of them came from around here who were doing well in the superbikes at that time.
It is very, very wet down at La Chapelle at the moment as well. This is bike swap for Quartararo. Jumps off one, goes round the... Where did he go? Has Quartararo gone to the wrong bike? Oh, hang on a minute. No. Quartararo's come in and he's parked in Maverick Vinales' space.
Yeah, he's got the right bike now.
He's on the right bike now, but he came into the pit lane, parked in the wrong spot. You might get a penalty for that.
Yeah, that's tickled quite a few of them.
Yeah, he might get a penalty for that because he's gone to the wrong bike. But
what's his boss called? He's English.
Oh, I can't remember. Wrong question to answer that. They keep it very private down at Petronas. In Yamaha as well.
friend. It's Susie's friend.
That would be
Not Hervé, because you know
Hervé Poncho, yeah.
Hervé was saying earlier how much he's missing Susie.
She'll be back next time out to the Italian Grand Prix. At the moment, up 11 and 27 at the moment. Nakagami holding off from Johan Zarco. Zarco, who was fastest in the combined practice times, but had a shocking qualifying, if you think about it.
Bagnaya's still in 13th.
Yeah.
You know, that's and you know, Brad Binder's behind him.
Quartararo, long lap penalty. He did get a penalty for stopping in the wrong box. Quartararo, the race leader, has a double long lap penalty. And now, despite the fact that Jack Miller got 2 long lap penalties, he's kept the gap. And he's just got it. Now, they come up with it being investigated, but on our monitor, it said long lap as Quartararo defends the inside line coming into the Dunlop chicane. Over the Dunlop bridge now, down towards La Chapelle. Miller going to look to the inside line. This is going to be the overtake of the season. Downhill, wet conditions, stopping it, and he's got it through. Miller leads the French Grand Prix as Quartararo gets that long lap penalty.
And about this time in the last race, Fabio was starting to have problems with that arm, and you do wonder, you know, it's about the way the wrist goes in the corners, right? Yeah. And you've got to get if your wrist goes a certain way, it puts pressure on this forearm here, and the sheath of guiders around it. It swells and causes aches and discomfort.
Yeah. Quartararo has just taken his long lap penalty. It was awarded to him. The dude in the blue suit says, do you think Miller will win? After that, yes, I do. He's got 4 seconds now, and that Ducati's looking good in the wet.
Jack is confident at the moment, and I know people think he's always confident, but he's actually, he thinks about what he's doing quite a lot. And I think that he is saving those tyres when he let Quartararo race off, and then he got that speeding in the pit lane. He'll be angry about that, but you know he's just got to forget it.
Oh, fire! Lorenzo Sabadori, his bike's exploded and
he's
the engine's
had a good
gone.
weekend, Sabadori.
Yeah, and that's disappointing. Got through to Q2 for the first time, his highest ever grid position. Now this might be a red flag, because if that bike has dropped oil and water don't mix, they'll have to sort that out. So if we see riders going down into the museum corner down at turn 7, we'll know why.
Savadori is didn't he get Aprilia's top thing of the season?
He did
yesterday.
Yeah. Top highest qualifying of the year for the Aprilia, because Elisha Spargo, bless him, hasn't really got that further up in qualifying at the moment. So Savadori had a great run. Now this is the museum.
Yeah, that's dropped Savadori to last position, obviously because he's out.
Morbidelli is out. Mia is out. Now Savadori's out.
Yeah, that's three
another
of them
one.
gone.
Who's this down?
This one down?
Can't see at the moment. It's the KTM. It's Miguel Oliveira. Miguel Oliveira's crashed out, the winner of the Portuguese Grand Prix last season. And Oliveira stopped, and he's joined the Turn 3 club. It's down at Turn 3.
Yeah, and he's dropping in the things. Do you reckon he'll get back up? Because, I mean,
Possible,
that's not too far away. It's what damage he's done. He's trying to get it into neutral there. And he can't get it into neutral. Let's get it onto the hard surface, and let's try it then.
He's just dropped it down as well, and he held the bike for so long. That's not good. And the gravel's gone in and everything as well. And the gravel's small here. Right, down now into... Actually, it's down at the Oxboost corner, down at 9 and 10, where the Savadori's bike exploded.
Yeah, isn't it? You've got there's 2 bits that the gravel can damage there.
Yeah.
It can get in the scoop and affect the heat of the engine, but it's the left hand brake.
Yeah, it just breaks off, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's
very
light.
You know,
because it's not like a normal motor. It's not like a normal motorcycle or a normal bike. There's not 2 brakes. There's only 1 brake on a MotoGP bike. The other is the clutch.
Yeah.
So there's only 1 actual brake on a MotoGP bike.
Cal used to have it in a different position because you're usually using just 1 finger for your brake.
Yeah.
And Cal had his in a slightly different position. Jack Miller has his in a slightly different position as well.
And Rins has crashed again, but he's okay, according to the monitor. So Rins has crashed out for a second time this race actually has gone down. And it's turn 3. It's turn 3, and he's really angry now. He's kicking the gravel into the air. Alex Rins' first crash was... Actually, he's crashed at the same point, because turn 3 and 4 is the same part. The chicane. Yeah. And off goes Quartararo. Quartararo's gone a bit too wide. Coming down at the...
And he hasn't taken these
chicane.
long laps.
Quartararo has, yeah.
Has he really taken it already?
Yeah, Quartararo, when you were explaining the arm pump issue, he went round. So, yeah, he's gone round.
Okay.
So 4.3 seconds. Miller's got to Quartararo at the moment. This is where it starts to get tense. It's still raining out there, but it seems to be fine rain. It's not the soaking rain we saw when they had to swap the bikes. So now the question is the track going to start drying out like we saw in Moto 3? That they're going to start slipping off on an oily track.
If you drop it and damage the clutch side, it's usually not as bad.
Yeah, because there's a secondary one.
What you'd actually doing is you're moving the when it goes into the gravel, it moves it.
Yeah, so you can just pull it back up to the right place.
So turn 3, you're going to hit the clutch, aren't you? Really?
Because the way you fall over, it's never usually, even though with the high side, due to the gravity and the hillness of that part of the track, you do fall and always damage the brake side, not usually the clutch side. At the moment, there's Paolo Campelli, who is the Pramac Racing. And now we're seeing at the moment, Pramac going up into third place. Nakagami's holding on the inside line. Zarco's going to try and send it. This is turn 3. They've all been dropping here. Don't touch the white line. And Zarco goes round the outside, takes third place. Nakagami down to 4th. Pramac happy with that one at the moment, as Morbidelli is actually apparently still racing. Even though he's not classified, but he is still out there on the track. So is Mia.
Perucci currently is slightly faster than Espargo in front of him, and he's lapping about the same time as Marquez, who's in front of him. Alex, that is.
Yeah, Alex Marquez still racing in P5.
Because Alex is in P5 at the moment. That's a good position for young Alex.
Amazingly, Marc Marquez is still running, as we know. He's down in 15th place. He's going to pick up a point, despite crashing. But it would have been a fairy tale if he could have won. But he was the first to meet the conditions, and back on the gravel he goes.
Do you know when you've got brothers in the race or in one of the races before?
Yeah.
Does it? I wonder if it affects you how you race when you see them crash. Because Brad Binder doesn't seem to be doing anything. His brother crashed this morning.
Yeah, Binder binned it down at the turn 6 corner La Chapelle, didn't he? Yeah.
Of course, for 2 of the riders on this, their brother was in the podium.
Yes,
Ricky?
Rossi, Riccardo Rossi, yeah.
Ricky Rossi.
Ricky Rossi got through his first ever podium. Of
course. Luca Marini and who's the other one?
I think it's...
what's the other one called?
It's someone haired bloke called Valentino Rossi.
Valentino Rossi.
I've never heard of him.
I like Valentino.
Oh, there's Debris at the exit.
I love the way that, even Massini, is it Massini?
Yeah.
He speaks like Rossi.
Yeah. And there actually is Valentino chasing down former teammate Maverick Vinales, or suppose current teammate, depending on how you look at it. Rain coming back down.
Bassini.
And here is Maverick. No, I keep doing that. Ever since they came back, it's because you've had a year saying Maverick Vinales instead of Marc Marquez. It's quite similar. So Marc is back on the bike, and he's now quite a way off Luca Noah at the moment.
But he is proving that the Hondas, he's getting more out of that Honda than the others ever did.
Oh, yeah. Marc Marquez came back and immediately was quicker than Pol Espargaro, Nakagami, and his own brother, Alex Marquez. Alex, in the first race, wasn't it? He said, I was so angry at him because he beat me.
Neil and Gavin were getting themselves all knickers in a twist yesterday in qualifying by saying that, you got Hondas 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then the rain started and the Hondas just dropped like,
down.
And the Hondas aren't very good in the wet, are they?
They never have been. The only driver who can control it is Marc Marquez, and he's just got through on Marini after also passing back. Petrucci's now passed Aleix Espargaro. In fact, I think Aleix has been also passed by his brother Paul. Aleix is down. Aleix is down. Must be, because he's been passed now, yeah.
He's dropped to 11th.
So he's been passed by him. So unless he's had a moment and run off, because he's stabilised. Unless Alex is going to pass him.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's fallen off. Because he's not gone lower than the 11th.
There we go. Yeah, he's down. So something,
he is down.
Something's happened to Aleix Espargaro then. I can't see it on the monitor. Unless he's gone down at Racudemont, which is this last 2 corners here. Is he off in the corner? Nothing from the stewards at the moment. No, don't know where he's gone, actually. Yeah, Aleix Espargaro's just literally dropped off the timing screen. He's down now to 17th and out of the race. So don't know what's happened there.
We've also had electrical problems this weekend with two or three of the riders. Whether that's the wet, we don't know. We shouldn't be, should it? But
so Aleix dropped off in the first sector, then he was 6th in sector 2, and then always there, he's fallen right back down. So he's gone off in the last sector, which is coming through from Oxbooth to the
last
there he is.
Runners, so he must be. There he is.
Yeah, and that's down at, I think, turn 12, actually. So that's the S Blues corner, or the Blues S's at the moment. Espargaro has stopped with mechanical problems, the official information from the stewards. And this is what happened. He's just come in, I think, and has he just had an engine off? It hasn't really sounded very nice. Coming into S Blues. I think it's gearbox, you know. It's gearbox because he hasn't changed up, yeah. So that's also down at it's Oxbooth, yeah. And he's gone through Oxbooth and he's come through to stop at the S Blues corner.
It's got to be gearbox, hasn't it? Because it was still ticking over.
The accelerator was still there and ticking over. So it was gearbox that just stopped him. He didn't want to rev up and damage the engine if it's a gearbox failure. That's not an easy replace on the motorcycle. Whoa, look at Quartararo.
Like he was stuck in gear, actually.
Yeah, Quartararo, his bike was vibrating like mad coming through turn 1, which is a little kink. I feel sorry for the Moto E guys who are out next in these conditions for 7 laps.
That little thing, that little wobble just then could be to do with his arm.
Yeah, do you think he's trying to get the blood back into it?
Well, no, I think because you've got one arm stronger than the other.
Oh, it's just gripping too much. Yeah, okay, I see what you're putting. Yeah,
and Marcus had that in practice or qualifying as well.
We saw this back though at Spain, didn't he? As soon as he got that arm pump issue, he just fell right back through the field. We thought he had a mechanical issue. Wasn't until the end of the broadcast that we found out it was arm pump, and he's at heart rates at his highest he's been this weekend.
Neil suggested it was arm pump, and Michael Laverty did as well. And you know, they're the experts. They've raced themselves.
They've had it as well.
And had it themselves. You get 18 months sometimes, according to Cal.
Big one!
That's
Repsol!
big. That's the Repsol.
It's Marc Marquez, and he's up already, walking away. The bike decided to do pirouettes into the gravel.
He's hurt his arm.
Marquez looks like he's hurt his arm this time. Yeah, I think they were just going to come in and change over. Oh, it's turn 6. It's La Chapelle. That is a big one. It's downhill into the braking zone. And looks okay. Yeah, the arm looks
I think he's just got a whack on it.
Okay, so let's take a look. Is it a high side down into La Chapelle? Because if so, that's a big one. No, thank God for that.
He loses his front.
He's going to get up, isn't he? Oh, okay. So, yeah, Mark never actually hit his shoulder. The bike took the brake of the accident by flipping over. Mark just literally drops it on the deck coming into La Chapelle and just skids across the gravel and then does what Mia did and got up.
Is when you've got an injury like that, your mind becomes conscious.
Yeah.
And when you have a crash like that, you know, that's what you're thinking about first, and that's why he was holding his arm like that. I don't think he's got it wrong with it.
He's been doing that all weekend, though, hasn't he? Every time he's gone down, he did it in practice as well.
It's subconscious.
Arm into the middle, just trying to protect them as well, and tuck your shoulders in as well.
And like, who's the lad that rolls in a ball? One of them rolls in a ball.
Is it
Vinales? Moto 2.
Oh, Moto 2. Hang on, let me look at the notes I've got in the box.
I'm pretty sure it's Moto 2. And one of them's way of doing it is he rolls into a ball.
Sam Lowe's rolls into a ball.
No, well,
Bezzecchi does it. Joe Roberts did it. He does Batman style. Albert Arenas. That's it. Albert Arenas.
Yeah, he's the one who rolls over and over and over and over in a ball.
Yeah, he just sort of tucks himself in because he's quite a small chap, Albert Arenas, and he's able to roll over quite easily. He's also quite small in terms of height, but he's actually one of the slightly larger chaps in the Moto 2 field as well. All muscle, of course, at the moment, as this is Fabio Quartararo.
You mean he's stocky?
Yes, yeah, that's it. He always races with that chain, and I never know why he's allowed to, because if you're in the gravel, it's a metal chain, and if you get caught anything, it's going to start choking you. I don't know why, but it's not actually a cross, it's the chain of a cross that he's had since he was younger, and he races with it, because the actual cross is now on another necklace he wears. Quartararo always reminds me of Lewis Hamilton.
Should have it tattooed like Aaron Canet instead.
Has he got it on the back of his neck?
Canet has had more tattoos for this weekend. You know, he never does his head and he's, you know.
Yeah, I swear though, he's
Does
had
he?
it here at the back of his neck.
I thought he got extra there. But Canet went down this morning as well.
Yeah, Canet had another off in the Moto 3. And right now, Jack Miller leads, looking to do a back-to-back. He's only ever won. Well, actually, his first race he ever won was a similar to one to this at the TT Assen in 2016. That was a race quite similar to this one. Started out dry, had to do a flag-to-flag, then the race got stopped because it was so wet. Now it's drying out again. The sun shines out, so we've had that little rain. And now, with 8 laps to go, the sun shines out. The track's starting to get a dry line. How long until these wet tyres become a liability? Like we saw though in the Moto 3, unlike with the slick tyres, these wets will not delaminate. They won't spit off things in left, right and centre. They'll sort of ground together and, as Neil Hodgson said, become chewing gum.
Off the racing line there, they looked like a bit of one of them's little wings.
So who's dropped a winglet down on the track?
It could actually have come off the Honda.
Yeah, Marquez, when it fell off, yeah. We've had a couple of them drop off so far. So we've got if you're watching on ITV4 or on BT Sport, where it's currently live in the UK, you're seeing the live picture same as us. Miller, Quartararo and Zarco open up in the mini box at the moment. Quartararo is being hunted down by Zarco. And now it's a bone dry track by the look of it. I can see slightly wet lines off the racing line, but look, it's mainly dry. Look, there's a puddle on the exit of La Chapelle, of Recruitement. It looks dry.
I think ITV4 are getting superbikes as well.
Oh, wow, that's great news then. Oh, it's
because they've always had British superbikes.
Yeah. ITV4 really becoming the free-to-wear home of motorsport at the moment. It's fantastic to see that as well. Rumour is
it's always been the sports channel, really.
Yeah, ITV4 has really been their sports channel. The rumour is also they're going to try and go for the Formula E again, and this time keep it. Which I think would be great news. Although BBC have got that at the moment, haven't they? But ITV4 want to put it on free air. But then again, we've had Formula E on numerous channels.
ITV4's problem is that it hasn't got a HD channel in this country.
ITV4 doesn't have HD?
Not
on
free to
air. Yeah, not on Freeview. We do have it on satellite boxes.
But that just means they'll have to pay a bit more money.
Yeah, I'm sure they can do it. I'm sure they'll put
Quest did it, didn't they?
Quest did it, yeah, for HD free-to-air. BBC One have got it. Although we're all waiting for the day we get 4K channels on free-to-air. That's the question.
You can get 4K on the free-to-air iPlayers.
Yeah, it's a bit like, do you remember HD actually arrived about 5 years before it actually was on free-to-air? Because it arrived 2006, didn't it?
Yeah, and then, on the satellite and the iPlayers, you got the BBC HD channel.
Yeah,
which was good.
Yeah. And then we have the 4K channel now on the iPlayers.
The big problem is the red button in this country. We haven't got it in HD.
Yeah, that's the only thing we haven't got, which is bizarre, because every other red button channel isn't. We're going to have to interrupt this little conversation because Zarco has closed up that Ducati in these mixed conditions way better than the Yamaha of Fabio Quartararo, and he's starting to close up. In fact, he's got him. Lovely toe. Now we see the Ducati's whole shot device in activation as well. The extra kick up the backside down towards the straightaways, and Zarco takes second. Ducati 1-2. Ducati Lenovo, the factory team leading. Pramac Ducati racing in P2 as well. This is a great day for them.
There was some mixture of the times this morning. We started at 8 o'clock our time instead of 7:15.
I love that.
And also that meant that they've moved the Motor E race to about 2:30 this afternoon. And I believe that is on BT Sports red button. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's on BT Sport Extra 2, so this red button here as well. Because, as you know, we tried to bring you live coverage of the Moto E last weekend for the opener, but it wasn't shown because they changed the time. They've done the same thing here this weekend, so we can't show you the Moto E, although we are desperately trying to get hold of both races and put them on some point during the week with commentary. I think Megan was interested in doing that.
They only last about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, so it's easy just to shut them
They're
on
only
one
about
show.
7 or 8 laps long, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not like the Formula E where it's 45 minutes plus 1 lap yet. The Moto E's bikes, because it's a lot smaller battery. It's about their battery is about the size of an iPad in terms of width. In terms of length, sorry, in terms of width, it's quite width, but in length, width and height. Yeah, in terms of width,
maths has never been his strong point.
In terms of width, it's about the size of an iPad. The battery on a Moto e-bike, but for the height of it, it's about the size of
Davio there,
mobile phone.
waving at his rider as he went past, giving
And
him instructions.
5 to go. Blue skies. Trackers dried out. These guys on wet weather tyres. How long can they last until someone drops it? They don't become slicks either. They're deep grooved into these tyres as well.
They're also pretty good at keeping together.
Yeah, they're not going to start spitting off anything. It will be like racing on chewing gum, which I think is quite all right because it's a lot stickier. You're not going to slide out, but it's a question of if you lose temperature in them as well.
Yeah, Davio was hoping for a bit of rain.
I think everyone's... I'm not surprised Davide Brivio isn't out there spraying water guns at it or a hose pipe just every time the tyres go through as well. Right now, in these mixed conditions, it would be an idea if we had like a pool stripped out that they can ride through to keep the tyres cool. Maybe the long lap loop would be water-sized. I don't know, but these are going to be horrible. And it'd be a nasty accident as well if you drop off.
Why not give them toilet breaks as well? I mean, we have
that
you're giving
before.
them so
They've had a bike.
much.
Hey, they've had a bike change. What more do we want? They've had the flag to flag. And at the moment, Quartararo will lead the championship on 80 points. Bagnaia will be on 77. Zarco 68. Miller 64. The top 4 in the championship separated by 16 points. That's going to be a certain interesting race going into the Italian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time, which sadly, it was going to have, I think, 2,000 fans in attendance. Now we've been told that Mugello will be behind closed doors, which is a disappointment.
Well, we had an experiment in the Cup final yesterday. We had 20,000 fans at Wembley.
100,000 spectatorship in Wembley, by the way.
They tested before they went in, tested afterwards as well, and they'll be tested through the
week.
Through the week. It's a bit of an experiment.
It might work,
I wouldn't want to be part of an experiment like that. But.
No, I wouldn't risk it, but I suppose those people who are, I think, deserve a medal.
I'm hoping for my second jab this week.
You're getting yours this week, aren't you?
Hopefully.
I'm getting mine June 3rd as Bagnaia has passed Alex Marquez. Alex Marquez got his first ever podium here 6 months ago when we last raced the French Grand Prix. Now he's just missed out with Bagnaia going through. So, yeah.
Also, a quick thank you to our electricians who did all this in a day.
In a morning, in fact.
Yeah.
I mean, it did take 7 years, but I was very, very surprised because we were thinking it was going to take all day, didn't we? And it took a morning.
Yeah.
New fuse box, actual sockets behind, new strip light, and I painted the wall in the afternoon, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, Josh actually got out of his bedroom, and which is like his office, and actually did something constructive.
I did.
And didn't leave it to his brother as he normally does.
No, and we've put the flags up now with actual poles. They're not going to fall down like they did last time. But yeah, it looks fantastic.
Paul said he's racing this weekend, so he can't hold them up.
No, so we had to actually put them with little holes. But yeah, it looks good. And we will be seeing the other side of the commentary box because Megan wants to do a tour.
No, they won't come down like they did during Formula One because of the fact that they're now hooked on to the whole pipes in place.
Yeah, it's literally what holds a U-bend together on a toilet. That's what they're held up with. Fantastic.
Yeah, and it works.
£2. Or £1.80 something other from B&Q.
It was £1.56 actually.
Oh, £1.56. I knew you'd remember it. Yeah, but yeah.
I get the bill.
Yeah, okay. New box, sort of. Flags all the way around, although I think that needs redoing because it's sort of all over the place.
He's been bugging us to do this for a long time.
It's done. It's great as well. I can't wait. As well, it does feel a bit different as well, looking at the screen, because you can see just white alongside it. It's like you're in a dungeon, I say, or a cellar, a wine cellar that you're commentating on, which wouldn't actually be a bad idea.
3 laps to go. Jack Miller still leads from Johan Zarco. Fabio Quartararo's fallen to 3rd place, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Championship leader Bagnaia is in 4th. Danny Petrucci and Alex Marquez are doing well in 5th and 6th. I had a feeling, that Daniel was going to do well this weekend.
He's had a great run at the moment, Petrucci. I mean, admittedly, in the first 4 races, he's been here or there about, hasn't he? He moved bikes to the Tech 3. But for once, no longer on a Ducati, back on KTM Tech 3's bike, and doing really well. At the moment, Hervé Poncharal will be impressed with that one. And
it's all about getting the setup
right. That's Miller. Sorry, that's Miller.
That's Miller.
He's off at turn 8. That's the Garage Vert corner.
That was the replay.
Yeah, so he's got a little bit wide.
Jack's still got a gap of 4.6 to Johan Zarco.
Literally in 103 MotoGP starts, he's had 2 race victories. First win, Netherlands 2016. Last win, Spain 2021. And now the French Grand Prix at 2021.
2 laps to go. Come on, Jack. Come on. We need this.
No British riders in MotoGP at the moment. We're rumoured that we might get Carl Crutchlow wildcarding at Catalonia and Silverstone on the Monster Energy Yamaha bike, which he's a current test rider with.
Yeah, we had a bad time in Moto2 today. And Jake came virtually last.
He had an accident, though, didn't he?
And Sam fell off the track. So, but you're going to get those days.
And Dixon was flown to hospital, wasn't he, yesterday to have some scans, and didn't fail
That's
to qualify.
probably why his performance wasn't brilliant today.
Had some CAT scans
He'll
done
be
as well
back.
to check he was
They'll
okay.
both be back.
They thought concussions, that's why they did a CAT scan on him. But he was okay with that.
He passed every single test.
Yeah, with flying colours as well, yeah. And the concussion tests in MotoGP aren't usually as good.
He said he passed with flying colours, although the colours weren't actually the ones they were holding up.
Yeah, green, red, but this is yellow and blue. At the moment, Quartararo is going to lead the championship by 1 point to Bagnaia because Bagnaia's up to 4th.
His missus said he's like that. That'll be fine. He's always like that.
I'm not sure we've actually got a rider who's colourblind. I know I've heard of one of them at least being colourblind in the past. But I'll have to look into that as well. But we're coming up to the last lap here for the French Grand Prix. Megan, I think, is kicking herself right now. She's missed this one. Should be the only race she misses, though, before returning to the box full time for MotoGP this year. She's decided, after enjoying the first 4 races, she's decided that she likes it again and wants to do more of them because they're 45 minutes and easy.
She's in the middle of her exams, though.
Yeah, so she'll be with us in Monaco. Race day only. Don't
listen to Boris or his education minister. They are still doing exams.
Yep.
They are having assessments, though. This is exams to help the assessment.
It's exams, but not done by Ofsted. Exams done by the school.
Cool.
With the other exams going around. Anyway, last lap the call for the MotoGP French Grand Prix. Johan Zarco will finish P2. He'll now close up in the championship into 3rd place, but Quartararo and Bagnaia, because Bagnaia's up to 4th.
Last lap.
1 point the difference.
Last lap.
I can't wait for this one.
Beth's going to be happy. Dan's going to be happy.
It's going to be another victory for Australia. Jack. I can't wait for this one. We're doubtful we're going to race in Australia for MotoGP because it's not like F1.
Well, they're on the green list.
Yeah.
We can go to Australia, but they just won't let us in.
Yeah, the Formula 1 can go to Australia because it's just the Formula 1. MotoGP, I've got MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3, Moto E, and the Asia Talent Cup. So that's over 3,000 people crammed in. Where in F1, they're capped at 1,000.
Yeah, the Turkish Grand Prix's gone in Formula 1 because the fact that 70% of the teams are British.
Yeah, we lost the Finnish Grand Prix for MotoGP
it's
as
about
well.
the British rules about when you come back into the country from a red country like on the red list like Turkey, and that's why Turkey's been stopped.
No worries for this guy though here today with coronavirus or being around because he's filed to the front once again.
Come on, Jack.
Once, twice, 3 times a winner. Jack Miller wins again.
And the first one since Casey Stoner to do back-to-back for an Australian.
Fantastic race. Is that Quartararo off? Did he make it? Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Zarco is second. Quartararo is third across the line. But Jack Miller wins again.
And Fabio is really happy. It's as if he's won.
Actually, well done.
It just proves how much that arm was painful for him today.
That's more of a psychological win for him.
Yeah.
To keep on going.
A podium he's happy with it.
And there's only 16 finishers. Morbidelli finished despite looking injured. Davido is very, very happy right now. Gigi Dell'Arenio. Across the line comes Luca Noah, finishes 9th, his highest ever finish in MotoGP, with Vinales 10th, Rossi is 11th. Jack Miller can't believe it. He's riding no hands downhill at La Chapelle, the steepest point of the track, and he can't win it. 3 wins in his career, 2 on the bounce. That puts him in the title hunt. And he becomes the very first rider in MotoGP history to be given 2 long lap penalties and still win the race.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And
he did
crash
it the hard way.
And he crashed out.
Yeah.
He also crashed out, didn't he, on the deck? hang on. He's had 2 long lap penalties, crashed out, changed bike, and he's won the race. Yeah,
Did he crash out?
Yeah, do you remember he went onto the gravel and fell over? That's a crash. He crashed out.
Ah.
But he got back into the pit lane, didn't he? And was speeding in the pit lane down it. How about that then? Jack Miller, I think, has just made even a bit more of history.
He's certainly
the first rider to crash out of a race and win it.
doesn't that get him even?
Yeah, championship at the moment.
In
Yeah.
the championship.
Dan
says, "Well done, Jack."
Puts him 4th on 64 points. Quartararo leads on 80. Bagnaya's on 79.
Yeah,
Zarco 68.
Bagnaya's had a bad weekend.
Yeah, Bagnaia finishing 4th. Could have been more. He's lost the championship lead. But, yeah, it's going to be great. Looking at that, Marc Marquez actually now goes to 17th on 16 points. So well done there to Marc for actually finishing the race.
Great finish for Alex Marquez in 6th.
Oh, hang on a minute. Marquez retired from the race. That's Marc Marquez. I forgot about that.
Alex Marquez.
Yeah, Alex Marquez, the one I should have been talking about, finishes
Yeah.
P6 and is now 14th, 2 points ahead of his brother.
And Petrucci gets the 5th.
Oh, that's nice there from Zarco. Of course, French rider, home podium, carrying the tricolor there for France. I think we would try and do that, but I don't think I've got a French flag. The British flag's got the same colours, but it's got Silverstone in the middle of it. And it's the British flag. But yeah, look at this. Jack Miller looking very, very happy, and Zarco happy. A double podium for Ducati as well. Factory Ducati winning. Pramac Ducati finishing in P2. Very good race results. Quartararo 3rd, Bagnaia 4th, Petrucci 5th, Alex Marquez 6th, Nakagami 7th, Pol Espargaro 8th, Luca Noah 9th, and Vinales rounds out the top 10. Rossi 11th, Marini 12th, Binder 13th, Bastianini 14th. Rabat gets the last point in 15th, despite being a wildcard rider and a replacement. And Franco Morbidelli is 16th, out of the race. Marc Marquez, Aleix Espargaro, Oliveira, Rins, Savadori, and Johan Mir.
I think the French should be quite happy with 2 people on the podium.
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah, Quartararo and Zarco. And Australia are delighted for Jack Miller.
Great ride by Jack.
First Australian rider to win back-to-back since Casey Stoner in 2012. Bang on.
Thank you.
And I think, as I said, first rider to crash out, receive a double long lap penalty, and win the race. I can't remember that being done before.
Ducatis are having a strong season, aren't they? After
They're
a
back,
little bit of a wobble at one point.
Well, admittedly, they had Dovizioso and Petrucci. Now, Petrucci was strong, but he was always second fiddle to Dovi. Dovi was very much the bigger ego in that team. They got rid of them both. They've brought in Miller and Bagnaia, and they've been electric since the start.
Ducati's 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah, good point there, actually, yeah.
Yeah, Quartararo is the Petronas Yamaha.
And the Pramac of Rabat down in 15th, which is great news, considering he's a replacement.
Then you've got Petrucci in the KTM, which is, I think they've got a Triumph engine in, haven't they?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
And then the first of the Hondas, and Marquez, Nakagami, and Espargaro are all together there, and in a little KTM sandwich.
And here comes the rain. It started raining again now. And the Moto E's up next. Electric bikes that have a tendency to explode and burn down in rain. And it's lithium battery, which means that the rain just makes it burn brighter.
Do you think this gives Jack a really strong chance of the title?
Yes. Because for once...
He's only in 4th place in the championship, isn't he?
Yeah, and the gap is only between the top 5, 24 points. That's one race win separating the top 5. I
would love to see Jack win the title.
I think this is Jack Miller's year. After that performance in Spain and here in France,
his confidence is on a complete high.
Yeah.
Whereas that lad, Morbidelli, is
low, yeah.
He's on a low this weekend.
Keeps getting passed up as well and not having a great bike at the moment either. But with Jack Miller, he's finally been given the chance. He was on Pramac for years, do you remember? And now finally he's been given a chance with the factory team. And it's working well. This is what happened. So Pol Espargaro, Rossi, and Morbidelli. Yeah, Pol Espargaro nearly had a high side, backed out of it. Rossi went round look, there it is. Rossi goes round the outside, and Pol's got nowhere else to go, and Morbidelli was sort of just stuck and on the curb, had to back out of it. Otherwise, it would have been a big accident. And it was a big accident.
Actually,
he did hit his knee.
He tried to turn to go out of it instead of going for that pit lane road.
Yeah.
If he'd have gone to that, kept straight and gone to for the pit lane road, he'd have probably stayed up there.
And he was holding that knee that he damaged yesterday in the
and
practice.
That's probably why he went down, because it's probably hurting him.
Massive bruise, presumably, as well, because he fell on concrete and the bike fell on him. So concrete, then bike, very hard stuff. And he has got a tattoo on the back of his neck.
Quartararo,
yeah. He's happy with the podium. Never a win on home soil. That's the thing. But is that Johan Zarco? Yeah, Zarco, I think what is he doing? Oh, he's just putting his hair right with his hat as well. I thought he was doing something to the bike.
He is French.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure your hair is right.
Oh, and he's fiddling with the helmet as well. I was thinking, was he stroking the bike, just having a little moment with it? We've seen that happen before. Even
Marquez used to be like that.
I was going to say, yeah, he used to stroke the bike. Even Lewis Hamilton started stroking the bike as well.
No, stroking his car.
The car, yeah. Do you see how difficult it is to swap between them all?
Yeah, he's called it a name, I believe.
Lewis has called a car a name. My goodness me.
Yeah, somebody said that
they're good masks.
he was calling it something.
They're good masks. Did you see? He put them around your neck and then only over the top of the ear.
I think it began with B and thing. When it wasn't working properly, but now it's something better.
Beatrix.
Beatrix.
Yeah, I love how who won this morning in the Moto3?
You can do Beatrix by flicking them up and catching them.
Who won this morning's Moto3 race? I can't quite remember. Can't really remember off the top of my head. Who won this morning's Moto3?
Don't know. I've had my breakfast since then.
It wasn't Binder, was it? No.
Nah, it wasn't Binder.
Sergio Garcia. There we go. The number 11. Yeah.
Sergio, Garcia did it. Second race of the year.
Yeah, he's
second winner of the year for Garcia.
And Sergio Garcia this morning as well, who is Spanish.
You just have to prompt me.
Yeah,
think about it.
Sergio Garcia, who's Spanish, from Valencia, born on the beach of Valencia. Gavin Emmett delivered a perfect line to rebuttal
his mother wouldn't get off the beach to have him at the hospital.
Yeah, so he was born on the beach. And Gavin Emmett says, for Sergio Garcia...
That's a song, Born on the Beach Tonight.
But he said, for Sergio Garcia, life's always been a beach.
Yeah.
Because he had a terrible weekend up until he won the race this morning in the Moto3 category. So Moto3 done, Moto2 done, MotoGP done, MotoE is next. We'll pre-record that if we can and get it sent out when we actually find race one to commentate on it.
Two Frenchmen having a little moment there. Jack
Miller is looking like a Wild West Texan Ranger at the moment, isn't he?
Jack having a word with Fabio about that little push.
Yeah.
But he's only joking.
Yeah, they're actually decent at the moment. Although we have seen Jack Miller rage this year. Back at the Qatar Grand Prix, he had a little bit of a moment, didn't he? And Megan at the time said it was an idiotic moment. It was with you and me, wasn't it? Yeah.
Not often you get that from Jack. He's usually quite level-headed with that thing. He's a wild man, but he's usually controlled.
Last time he had a battle on the track here at Le Mans, actually, Jack Miller.
He gets very upset. Do you know, when he has a bad day, he gets very upset. Yeah. And that's because he cares so much.
One year, I think it was 2014 maybe, he took Crutchlow out of the race in mixed conditions. And
Crutchlow is his best friend.
Yeah, and Jack said, I honestly thought you were going to punch me there when that happened. And he fell off. Now, this is Quartararo.
I wouldn't put it past Cal.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Although, it's more John McPhee.
You took my beer.
Yeah. John McPhee, however, seems to be the British fighter at the moment. He did kickboxing, didn't he? And then favourite show of Cobra Kai.
John McPhee didn't have a good time of it this morning either for a bit. And then managed to jump back up.
Finished fourth.
About halfway through the race, he started to recover, get his mojo right, and he did really, really well at the end.
And he finished fourth, which is a great result for him.
Yeah, he had a little, about 2 laps from the end, he had a little wide, which slowed him down a little bit, and that lost him the chance of, I think it was behind Remy at that time.
Yes, it was behind Remy Gunner, yeah.
Remy got second, didn't he, behind Garcia?
Yes. There is Jack Miller just talking to the World Feed. That's available on ITV4. I think their coverage is about to go off air, actually, ITV4, isn't it? 2 minutes' time and after the podium. Fantastic to see that.
That'll always be the problem with Channel 4, when they did Formula 1 live. That's their problem as well, because having a dedicated channel
Yeah.
Because BT Sport have dedicated MotoGP 2.
Yeah.
And so if they move anything, it's the other thing that's on after it
Yeah.
gets moved to one of the
Extra channels.
other
yeah.
channels. And so you keep with the MotoGP and with Formula One.
On Sky Sports F1.
On Sky Sports F1, you can go on for hours and hours if you want to, if there's something to talk about.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it as well. I think it's about time. I like the idea of a dedicated channel, but
Sky Sports F1 have, because Peacock are now showing live broadcasts of the practice sessions in IndyCar.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting now. We're getting the practice sessions
quality
on
race,
Sky Sports F1.
And it's nice to see the insightfulness because you spot things that you don't usually spot in the race. Like, oh, you had a problem. You had this back in practice.
Yeah.
Bourdais, for instance, had a stoppage, didn't he?
Grosjean had a pole position yesterday in the IndyCar. I haven't seen the end of the race, so I don't know what happened to him.
They haven't seen it either on YouTube. They know that Grosjean's on pole position, but they won't see that until next week. On Friday, I think it is, in between the F1 coverage of Monaco.
You guys still get your flag on the podium because it's a part of the Australian flag.
Yeah, that's true. It's alongside me now, actually, in the box. The Silverstone flag that you'll see. Yeah,
the Union flag.
Yeah. Megan at the moment as well wants to do a feature in the commentary box now it's painted, and she had an idea of.
Of course, in England, we have the flag of St. George as well. Like you have your own flag, and it's great when the England football team are doing really well. The stands are absolutely full of St. George flags.
Megan has had the idea of during Monaco of doing a behind the scenes thing that she wants to film now that she's got the Instagram stuff, so she wants to put a camera in between there so it shoots the other side of what's going on, which I think is an interesting idea, but considering the fact that there's one there that you can just nick quite easily with that background, it's a bit weird. But yeah, I think she wants to have an aesthetic look. She's been doing photography, so she's got that in her head.
And you can't see what we can see. Michael Laverty talking at the moment, but Susie, because she's not at the pit lane and having to dress in pit lane gear, she's got a nice black dress on. But what your mother will like are two things. She's got these little drop earrings on, which your mother would love them. And one thing your mother wouldn't wear, she's got about 3.5-inch heels on.
And also, as I told you yesterday morning, Susie
Not a heel person, your mother.
No. Susie Perry went out on Friday and with some of the BT Sport team and one of her friends and got a bit drunk, and she has a small tattoo somewhere on her, but she won't reveal where. But so very impressed that she managed to host qualifying yesterday, and she was a bit drunk and.
Well, she's sitting down. She's sitting down okay, but she was walking funny this morning.
Yeah, so she has got.
But
a
I
tattoo,
put that down to the drink.
Yeah, she put it on Twitter and Instagram. That she's got a tattoo somewhere now, and she won't tell anybody where. It's one of her things she does over there. Quartararo third, Zarco second, Miller on the podium. Now we can also play the Australian national anthem, but we have to talk over it when we do, so I'll unmute the channel when the national anthem's on.
Do we have to talk over the national anthem?
We do. Well, yeah, it's a loophole we discovered so that we can continue broadcasting. Because you haven't done a podium with us this year, have you? You're usually gone by now.
I didn't want to do this one.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Megan won't take over.
If it weren't for the fact that Jack Miller won, I wouldn't be still here.
Fair point. And there goes Fabio Quartararo getting the podium trophy for third place as well. Great job for Johan Zarco as well, finishing P2. And Jack Miller, his third ever victory, but it is podium number 12 in the Premier class. His 22nd podium overall. Jack kisses the trophy, holds it up high. The winner of the MotoGP French Grand Prix at Le Mans. And we will hear the Australian national anthem. But, as I said, we also have to talk over it ever so slightly. So let's talk a little bit about Jack Miller. Title contender, yes. His year, for sure. And I'm very excited to see where he's going to go, because he's going to track he likes. Next one is Mugello, Ducati's home track. They've run there 3 years.
He has been taking advice from Carl Crutchlow. And Carl's very good at analysing things.
Yeah. He's very good. And he's now 4th in the championship. Just 64 points to him, but he's only 16 points of Quartararo. The top 5, as I said earlier, Quartararo, Bagnaia, Zarco, followed then as well by Miller and Vinales, separated by 24 points. We've muted that as the national anthem's over.
The old men of Ducati looking very happy there.
Yes, absolutely.
That is one thing, you know, the Ducati bosses are usually...
Oh no, it's a shoey!
Yeah, there it goes.
He didn't do that in Spain, but he's done it now. The champagne flies, and it's a shoey for Jack Miller.
DC had to, when Danny Rick did it,
Yeah.
DC had to drink some of it, and so did Lewis.
Yeah.
And they didn't think of afterwards, you
COVID.
know, about the
Yeah.
the shoe itself.
Yeah. It's a
Being,
boot, isn't it? Yeah.
The boot itself having all this
Gunk in it, yeah.
gunk in it from Danny
Oh,
Ricciardo
no!
sweating.
Quartararo now takes it. That's him ill. Well, to be fair, if I did it with this one, I think I'd die if I did it with that one because there's no actual inner in it. It's worn out.
I think I'll die if you don't put it back on.
It's a worn out shoe. I just wear the commentary
You are
box.
so good that it's not smelly vision.
Oh,
You're
it's
so
not,
lucky you
it's
lot.
not. Anyway, right, we're going to have to go off air then. Dad, moment of the race, because that was, I think, the race of the year. And Megan, what have you done missing it?
I think the overtake that got Jack the lead.
Yeah, that
was
was move of the year.
That was a very good move.
Right round the outside, downhill into La Chapelle. I think that was a tricky overtaking manoeuvre, and he got it done.
Oh, we've got sunflowers in our garden.
Oh, yeah, they've just been put up there. I haven't yet to see that outside. Okay, so here's your coverage details for next weekend. Now, hold tight because it's just Formula One next week, and it's the big one. It is the Monaco Grand Prix, so the times are slightly different. We'll have a Wednesday preview show. Practice 1 and 2 will take part on Thursday. Friday is a day of rest, so that we will now have highlights of the Indianapolis Grand Prix of IndyCar on that day as well.
By the way,
yeah, go on.
there is no truth in the rumour that Nico tied rope to Lewis's door handle and to what's his name, the old man.
Oh, that rings a bell.
Eddie Jordan.
Eddie Jordan.
Because Eddie lives next door to Lewis, and there's no truth in the rumour that it was rope that was tied between the two doors, and then Nico knocks on the doors, and and they can't open them. It's not true. As Nico points out, it was elastic,
Oh,
right? Those elastic things for things like that. And so when one of them, you knock on one of them's door, they open it. And then, as the other one opens his door,
the door closes.
the other one closes. And so, who's that?
That would be typical Nick Rosberg and Eddie and Lewis's antics.
So, join us for Monaco, right?
Yeah.
And, where, Charles always slows down at a certain part of the track at Monaco. Look for it. And that's because it's past the flat that he grew up in.
Oh, that's nice.
So he slows at that point.
And also, we'll be having a special count on the screen as well. How many times Nikita Mazepin will hit the wall?
Is Duckula coming?
I don't know.
Count Duckula.
No, but Dracula might have to stop by Monaco. I'll tell you what, though, how many times will Nikita Mazepin hit the
We
wall?
haven't had a Romanian in Formula One
We haven't for a while, no. You're right.
since the 70s, I believe.
But we are expecting rain on race day as well. So Friday is a day of rest. Me and Megan will do a show, and you can watch highlights of IndyCar as well. Saturday, practicing quali.
Friday is a day of rest because Thursday night is the
it's the gala, isn't it? Yeah.
the gala.
The big gala.
Yeah, and Mana came in that fantastic dress.
Yeah.
Right. Mana, who most of the time is in jeans and boots, right, came in this dress that was an absolute knockout.
It's a wonderful fashion show. Monaco, yeah.
And George had the camera.
Yes,
and
he
was
did.
filming
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
And when Mana came in, he nearly dropped the camera.
I remember that actually. Yeah. It's a wonderful party atmosphere in Monaco.
She looked very beautiful.
Qualifying on Saturday is the best thing, and the race is going to be wet, hopefully. So it's going to be a great one. Right. We'll be back for MotoGP in 2 weeks' time on the 30th of May.
I won't be.
No, Megan will be back for that. But it's also the day of the Indianapolis 500.
She better be back.
Yeah,
for
Megan will be
that.
back for that one. But it's also the day of the Indianapolis 500 as well, so a lot of broadcasting on that day. But next up for MotoGP, it's their party town. The Italian Grand Prix is back at Mugello.
There's a lot of practice sessions this week. He's not broadcasting.
Oh, for IndyCar, yes.
For IndyCar this week. Because it's the build-up to the 500. It's a bit like the build-up to Le Mans. You know, you have 3-hour practice sessions in Europe. They were usually around about 7 or 8 at night.
Yeah, around about later
about
in the evening.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I think they go on from Tuesday and then...
Tuesday, Wednesday, rest on Thursday. Friday is carb day. Saturday, Sunday is
Happy days.
Yeah, it's happy. Yes, happy days. Actually, yeah, it's qualifying days.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Then they don't test until Wednesday when they do another 3-hour test. Friday is the pit stop challenge, and then a 1-hour sprint around the track called Carb Day.
And
that will be broadcasting as well.
Alex Palou's having a great season.
Yeah,
and he could be the first rookie for about 9 years to
Rossi won it 2016.
2016,
16,
yeah. So it's not as that long ago the rookie
Oh,
won.
5, 6, 7
Alex
years,
Palou,
yeah.
Alex Palou certainly looking good for it. Second win of the season yesterday, wasn't it? Didn't Palou win yesterday?
I honestly can't remember. Actually, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I actually
I
don't
think
remember.
it was Alex Palou.
I don't actually remember who won that race.
Josh is just quickly looking it up.
Well, you don't know the race results, so I'm not telling you. But
No, but I have seen a picture of Palou on the podium with the.
Don't think he won it though. It could be. Hang on.
Please hold.
No,
the
it wasn't.
line.
It wasn't Palou. Palou's on the podium, but he didn't win the race.
But he's still having a great season. Susie's back on the telly.
Yeah, so we really have to go now because we've been on air for an extra 10 minutes that we're supposed to be. So,
do you know she's nearly as old as your mother?
yes.
She's all right for me, but weird for you.
So, we are back for Monaco. The Monaco Grand Prix kicking off on Wednesday, practice on the Thursday, Friday a day of rest, Saturday and Sunday back on with the action as well.
Because your mother was telling me the other day that she's 48. Well, she's
How come
47.
Megan can take directional cues? We've got to go. It's only a quick
We've
show.
gotta go.
Right, well, it's actually we're coming up to the 90-minute mark, so this is time to go.
Oh, I've got to go then.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah, you really have actually got to go because the race is about to start for the Moto E. So off you go. So we will be back for the Italian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time for MotoGP. But Jack Miller wins again here. An absolutely fantastic race. A crazy, balmy French Grand Prix. First ever flag to flag for 4 years. More drama. Jack Miller, the first ever rider to crash, get a double long lap penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and win the Grand Prix. What a day. Thanks for your coverage here today as well. Thanks for you all coming in, sending your questions. Thanks to you for viewing this. We'll see you on Monaco. Bye for now.